Example 4, 192. We're not real familiar with 192. We can factor that down. Let's say 4 goes into that. 4 goes into that 48 times, I believe. And then we can factor these down. This is 2 and 2. This is 4 and 12. So another 2 and 2. And hopefully we're familiar with 12 by now. That's going to be a 2, a 2, and a 3. So 192 is equal to 2 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the 6th times 3. So let's write this out. We have the cubed root of 2 to the 6th. So I'm going to write that as a 2 cubed times a 2 cubed. And then we still have a 3. I'm writing as 2 cubed because they're going to simplify with the cubed root. I'm going to write this as a cubed. And then how many do we need, or how many are left? Well, we need to get to 5, so we have an a squared. And then b to the 10th, we can get a b cubed, another b cubed. That gives us 6 b's, 9 b's, but we need 10, so we need one more. And now, in this case, we're actually going to have things that can simplify and things that cannot simplify. So the cubed root of 2 cubed is 2. That does simplify. Cubed root of this 2 cubed is 2. Cubed root of 3 we can't do, so I'm going to leave a cubed root over here, and that 3's got to stay in there because that doesn't simplify. We have a cubed root of a cubed is a, but this a squared doesn't simplify, so it has to stay in here. We have 3 b's that simplify. 1, 2, 3. So we'll put b cubed. And then this one does not simplify, so we'll leave it in here. And so we'll multiply the 2 times 2. So we have 4ab cubed times the cubed root. Don't forget to put your index in here. That's a common mistake. Or we're used to writing square roots, so sometimes we forget to write the index. These are kind of similar to the one we just did. 0.008 or 8 thousandths. First, well, it's cubed root, so we can take cubed roots of negatives. So from what we learned before, this seems like, since it's an 8, it might be a 2.2 cubed. So let's just check that. What's 0.2 times 0.2 is 0.04. 0.04 times another 0.2 is 8. And we have to move the decimal over 3 places. So that is what we want. So we're going to have negative cubed root. We can think, well, this is negative 0.2 cubed x squared. This y to the 9th, we can think of it as y cubed, y cubed, y cubed. Z to the 7th, we have a z cubed, another z cubed, and then we have a z left over because we have to get to 7 z's, so 3, 6, 7. And now we can simplify. This is going to be negative 2 tenths. This x doesn't simplify, so we got a cube root of x squared. We have y times y times y. We have a z times z, and then we have this z left in there. And so our answer is negative 0.2 y cubed z squared cubed root of x squared z. And let me just point out, we don't have to use absolute value here because we're using an odd index. So we don't need to use absolute value. We only need to do that if there's an even index. So on this one, we might need to 320. Let's actually 32 times 10, 4 and 8, 10 is 2 and 5, and 4 is 2 and 2, 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. And we have the 2 and 5. So really what we're working with here, I'm going to do it down here where we have a little more room. We're looking at the square root of 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 to the 6th, times 5. And then we have x squared. For y, this is a square root since nothing's written. So we have a y squared, and then we have one y left over, and then z squared, and another z squared. The 2 to the 6th, maybe I should have written as 2 squared times 2 squared times 2 squared. Sorry for that little mess there. 2 squared times 2 squared times 2 squared. And so when we're taking the square root of this, we'll have a 2 times 2 times 2. We can't take the square root of 5, so we're going to leave that in here. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of y squared is y. But we can't take the square root of this y. And then we have a z and a z. Simplifying this, we got an 8, an x, a y, and a z squared, and then the square root of 5y. Now, this is even. X, this is an x the first and a y the first. We have to put absolute value around those. We could put around each of them individually, but actually we can just put them together. You can multiply x times y and then take the absolute value of it. You need to make that large enough so it doesn't look like 81 out there. So we do need the absolute values there because we had an even root and we ended it with odd exponents out here. And our last one, it's been a long lesson, but here we go, 32. We'll factor that. In fact, we factored it already. If you look right here, it was 2 to the 5th. So 32, just right here, is 2 to the 5th. Well, I'm going to write that as 2 to the 4th, because I have a 4th root out here, times 2, x to the 5th. That has x to the 4th, and then I have one more x. And then y to the 7th. That can be written as y to the 4th, and then y cubed. Simplifying this, we have 2. I should leave 4 out here. So we have 2. And we have a 4th root. 2 can't be simplified. X, y, oops, sorry, and this x here needs to stay in because you can't take the 4th root of x. Can't even take the 4th root of y cubed, so that needs to stay in there. And then we do have to put absolute value around xy because we had an even index and got odd indexes or exponents in our answer. And so there's the answer for that one. You can use these examples to help you as you follow through your homework.